Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Talk Music. And if you are new here, then welcome. It's been a hot minute. I have actually not done a video in a while. I will kind of just explain why. So we did Rock Beats Cancer, and then I was really busy, and then I started uni doing music business, which is obviously going to help with Let's Talk Music anyway. And haven't just had time to do any of these interviews. But our first video back, we have a guest, which is exciting and fun. So let's just get straight into it. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, yeah. Excuse me. My name's Matt, Matt Winsman, and I'm half of the band Common Tongue. We keep our business really simple. My name is Matt. I play drums, and my colleague is also called Matt, and he plays guitar and sings.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Um, so I always start off my interview podcast, I don't know what people want to call it these days, with a like an icebreaker question. And it's the same one for everyone. So if people have seen Let's Talk Music before, you'll know what it is. If not, then it's a bit of fun. If you could describe your personality as a color, what would it be and why?
I think I would go with green.
Okay.
I think people think I think people would agree I'm kind of fairly calm. I think
Yeah.
green's quite a calming color.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think I have that organization. I'm also kind of like focus driven as well.
Mm,
So like green in terms of like hitting targets and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with green.
that's
Calm, but also getting stuff done in a calm
that's
way.
cool. That's cool. I think that's the first time we've had green. We've had
Oh,
a lot
great.
of purple, a lot of black, a lot of blue, red, those kind of colours. I think that's the first time we've had yellow before. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool.
I kind of thought yellow. I think we're in a rock band, but the way we
Mm,
do our business sometimes is quite I don't know, just different.
yeah.
I appreciate people like being, black rock music,
Yeah.
metal. I think that's definitely where we're at on stage.
hmm
Um, and like purple's kind of cool, isn't it? It's kind of, I don't know, Purple
Yeah.
Haze, Hendrix. But yeah, I think, like I say, I don't know, we're in a band and we love it, but we're also just two normal guys that have
Yeah.
jobs that
Know what you mean?
play some tunes at the weekend.
Yeah, that's cool. So you've got quite a unique name. Um, where did it come from?
So it kind of happened after being a band for a bit
Mm,
and then kind of making the step from rehearsal space and just hanging out and playing tunes to then being like, we want to get a gig. And if you want to get a gig, you kind of have to go to a promoter and say, hey, we're,
yeah,
a band with a name. I think at the
for
time
sure.
it it was definitely a struggle to come across what we wanted to be. We
Mm,
were like, do we want to just be one word? That's like quite direct. Is it two words? Is it longer? Oh, longer's
hmm
just too much of a mouthful. And it was more Guitar Matt's idea, the idea of like common tongue, just kind of
hmm
a normal voice of the people, because often our tunes are just about fairly normal stuff, whether it's
Yeah.
like annoyance of social media or a breakup or like
Mm,
isolations or like COVID. It's just kind of it started from that initial point of just wanting to write, fairly not mundane songs, but definitely some of the content of it is day to day, but the important side of it, like linked to feelings and quite raw emotions, I think. So yeah, just kind of voice of the people, but
yeah.
saying that is sounds so egotistical, I suppose. Like, oh, we're the voice of everyone. It's
No.
more the voice of like the common man in the pub.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want to kind of push like, oh, we're just two like geezers, common guys, just like knocking about because we're, yeah, I don't know, we're definitely bordering lower middle classes between us. Like we're fairly comfortable and we work hard at
Mm,
our jobs. So, it's all somewhat oxymoronic, but yeah,
no, yeah,
common
fair.
tongue, talk about normal things.
Fair enough. Do you have any like bands or singers or influences or anything that influences your music at all?
Yeah, I think it's really nice because it sort of changes. I think the direct
Mm.
comparison we get most as a band is like, oh, you're a two-piece rock band. You must be like
hmm
Royal Blood.
Yeah.
We both love Royal Blood and we've both seen them live. And I think it would be obtuse not to find some comparisons sometimes.
Mm.
But there's also like other bands, a band called Cleopatra, Canadian bands. They're a two-piece. Kind of some of our stuff was a bit more
Yeah.
similar to them, maybe. But
Hmm.
like I said, I play drums. Matt plays guitar, so he's writing more of the riffs and
Mm.
the music side of it. And it's really interesting. You can definitely hear what he's been listening to at the time when you listen to our music.
Yeah.
So one of our, not our new track to release, but on the newer songs we've written, it's kind of like got some like My Chemical Romance influences in there.
Okay.
And he's kind of linked it back. It's a story about something within his life and
Hmm.
kind of being a teenager and kind of, I don't know, teenager in the tens or whatever, like being all
Yeah.
angsty and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it kind of, I think our influences are reflected as the different songs go, but as we've written more, we've
Yeah.
managed to find our core sound and then things are based from that. Whereas before we'd be like, here's a riff that sounds like a band, let's write a song. And then we kind
Yeah.
of sit and have a song and be like, that doesn't sound like us though. Like that'd be a great song
Yeah.
for another
Yeah.
band, but it's just not our sounds necessarily.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. I find that with a lot of bands nowadays as well, and we've been learning about this actually in music business in my course. Is you have to kind of categorize yourself in a box, but you don't actually have to be in a box, if that makes sense. So you kind of have to categorize yourself in a box so people know what they're listening to, so they know if they're going to be into you or not. But equally, you can jump out of that box into different like sectors of that genre and stuff. If that, I don't know
Yeah,
if that
for
makes
sure.
sense to what I'm saying at all.
Yeah, I think
Um,
we as when we're asked to like pinpoint a genre, we say we
yeah.
are a hard rock
Yeah.
band. We are a guitar-based band. We are probably hard rock leaning. But
Hmm.
then, like quite often, I find similar bands to us are like alt rock. But like,
Hmm.
surely that's just any band that is
Yeah.
alternative to us. Like the band Stone. I saw something they were
Hmm.
looking for like support acts and stuff, and they were like, "It needs to be alt rock." I was like, "I'd say we are," and I say you are, but our
Hmm.
sounds are so different. But then they're
Yeah.
very established, but also newish within the last few years, and their sound has changed quite a lot. As you know, and I've seen recently, like Himalayas have just kind of released their new track,
Hmm.
and I'd say it's a lot heavier than some of
Hmm.
their previous tracks. And they've
Yeah.
kind of done
Sure.
like new track, new album coming, I think, slight rebrand.
Mm.
Um, and it's yeah, it's definitely all linked.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
then yeah, sorry, like we'll probably talk about it in a bit, but our newer the track we're releasing on, on the 7th
Hmm.
of Feb, Friend or Foe, I'd say that's a lot groovier and
Hmm.
bluesier than some of our other stuff.
Mm.
But we're not suddenly a blues band, but again, we've been influenced
Okay.
by all the
Yeah,
music we've ever listened to.
for
There's
sure.
definitely other influences in there, but then the last 30 seconds is back to just us,
Mm.
you know, driven hard rock, like you kind of know us as before. So, but it all links, it all, under that rock umbrella, I suppose.
Yeah, no, for sure. The rock umbrella is quite a big one as well. So when I do Rock Beats Cancer, which for those of you out there who don't know, I do a charity gig every year. For the last 3 years, I think we're on 4 years. I can't remember now. We raise money for charity, like Teenage Cancer Trust, but we it's Rock Beats Cancer, but like under that umbrella, like you were saying, of rock we do start with like an acoustic act and then we get like slightly heavier and maybe slightly heavier, which some people might be like, oh, that's slightly metal, but it's not really.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
still kind
yeah.
of under that umbrella of rock if you get what I'm saying. So there's so many branches you can kind of like come off, I think, and a lot of bands are doing that now, and not keeping themselves as this one thing, which I think is really good. Because you may get a fan that just likes one of your songs, but that's still a fan that likes one of your songs. And that might just be because you put this extra little whatever in,
Yeah, yeah, for
that
sure.
that
It's the
they
same with I
jam
find
to.
I listen to a lot of bands that would be classed as punk bands,
Hmm.
or like personally, I listen to a lot of pop punk and probably like
Hmm.
Midwestern emo and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You don't really hear it in our music, but it's what I would listen to
Hmm.
actively. Um, but if Matt hears a track that's got a bit of that in it, he'll still send it to me like, I don't like this, but you will like
Yeah.
this. And it's kind of,
Yeah.
and that's kind of
For
cool.
sure.
The same with like some bands I feel we could put on a great show together, but if they're
Mm.
like classed as a punk band and we're a
Hmm.
rock band, like sometimes I feel like promoters are sometimes like reluctant to like mesh the two, but actually we are probably heavier live than
Mm.
what we record as, and other
Hmm.
bands might be the same or they might be a bit lighter live compared
Hmm.
to how they record if they're like
Yeah,
you know
no, absolutely.
double tracking and putting extra stuff in. So actually, it kind of
Yeah.
you've got the live band and then the recorded band. You want them to
Hmm.
be similar, obviously, but
But yeah,
you can let loose one.
I see what you said, and I think I do differ from other promoters, and I will just say that for about myself in the sense of I kind of want to listen and go. Sometimes things work, so like sometimes even like polar opposites work. And the first time I put an acoustic
Mm,
with it was like a rock band and an acoustic opening, people were a bit like, "Does that really work?" I'm like, "It does, but you have to listen to it to realize that it works."
mm,
Which
yeah.
is good. But yeah, so all good. Have you seen moving on slightly, have you seen a band recently that you have been like either established or not established or whatever, that you have been like they are awesome and you wanna or like a gig or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So we put on a show about 3 weeks ago now. So
Mm.
like start of January or middle of January.
Hmm.
And it links directly to your previous point about crafting nights and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So um, we have just released some vinyl, which was really cool. So we threw a bit of an opening party and a celebration of that at the
Mm,
studios where we recorded it at
that's
Casemates
cool.
in Portsmouth. The band we had on first, I learned so much from the singer and guitar player Tyler when we were first starting out as a band.
Mm.
He kind of like took me under his wing a little bit. We went for some beers, and he kind of talked me through a little about like the music industry, just like locally, and like these are some good contacts. Do a bit of this. This is how
Hmm.
you get your music on Spotify, stuff like that, which is great. So they went on first. Of the three bands, they're quite heavy, like
Mm.
in a heavy like way we are, like riffs and stuff like that, but not very much sung vocals, very musy,
Mm.
bit of Queens of Stone Age, kind of quite a similar genre to us. They
Hmm.
started Bottomless Brunch. They are great. Check them out. And this isn't a like disservice against them at all, but the second band we booked are a band called Salvo.
Yeah.
Um, and they blew me away. And Matt said the same. Like they're
Mm.
heavy, kind of growly vocals, kind of like Idol's first album, like Grit.
Yeah.
But you kind of had the poppier, even though they're not a pop band, they're a rock band, but the lightest band were on first.
Mm.
The next lads, Salvo, they came on. Their
Yeah.
set was just stunning, and then we kind of finished the night. And
Hmm.
again, we started soft, then we went heavy, and then we're probably a little
Yeah.
bit lighter in the three, but the night worked. But Salvo were just great. We know their drummer because he works at the studio. We'd done some stuff with him when we were doing the recording, so it's kind of like a thank you to him to be like, right,
Mm.
let's get your band on, let's celebrate the night. And it was one of those I knew they'd be good,
Yeah.
but I didn't think they'd be that good. And like,
Mm.
super hyping them. And I said the same to him. I was like, look, I loved your sound. I loved what you're doing. And it was just
Mm.
really cool.
That's
And that's amazing that they're just a band like in the local community
mm.
that are just getting it done.
Yeah.
Um, and to be able to put on a show and celebrate a band like that and Bottomless Brunch as well. I
Mm.
think I think with Bottomless, I knew they were going to be great and they put on a great show. Salvo, I kind of think they underplayed themselves a bit, and then it came out
Mm.
and I was like, okay, yeah, these
Yeah.
boys are cool. It was really good fun.
That's cool. So before we like wrap it up with the things that you've got coming up next, have you got any advice for any budding musicians out there? Maybe someone sat at home watching this and they're like, oh, I want to start a band, or I play this, or I want to do that, or we've started a band but we don't know what to do, or anything like that.
Yeah, I think just get out there and play initially. Like me and Matt started off as mates, which I think is a
Mm.
very good place to be because none of that squabbles and ego, like it's not a
Mm.
problem. So once you've got a group of people that you want to play with, like stick with it.
Yeah.
Um, Initially, we were looking for a bass player and a singer, or a bass player that could sing, or someone to fill out the sound. And that never really worked for us or
Mm.
for anyone else. Just didn't click. Couldn't find the right people. So Matt worked really hard to like work on his vocals and bought some new pedals and worked on sculpting our sound with what we
Mm.
had. And I think there's definitely something to be said for that. Like back yourself and
Yeah.
go with it. It doesn't, you don't always need to find the extra person or the extra this or the extra that.
Mm.
And then I just think like just try and be like true to yourself and go with it. And don't be afraid to like just randomly blindly message people on I do everything for Instagram, but Facebook, Insta, TikTok, I suppose works. I don't know.
For sure.
And just shout people and be honest and be like, look, I'm in a band. I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, can I have 5 minutes of your time? Can I give you a call?
Hmm.
Can you put us on a show? Um, because I found that was me 18 months ago, like
Yeah.
literally not really knowing what I was doing. And we played a proper music festival at the weekend. Like we've managed
Hmm.
to come through it. And lots of people ignored me. And fair play, they're all busy and they're in proper bands at the time. And some people were really helpful and like, yeah, like use this distribution service, contact this promoter. Um, I don't know, whatever it might be. Use
Yeah.
this company to get some
Hmm.
t-shirts or stickers so you can get a bit of money. And then some people, fair play to them at the time, I messaged them and they didn't reply because they're
Yeah.
probably busy doing other stuff. And I've caught up with them like a year later and we've met in person. And then,
Mm.
we've been like, oh yeah. I was like, I didn't say, but in my back of my head, I'm like, I messaged you a year ago and you ignored me, but now I'm
Yeah.
like part of it. And the other thing is, of course, just it's easier said than done if you've got like families and kids and stuff, but if you've got the time and you can be getting down to shows, like that's the best way to do it is just go see a show, chat to the band before, chat to the band afterwards. Like, don't, hound them,
Yeah.
but just sort of chat and say, hey, like, loved your set. If you did, if you didn't, then, be quiet. But, don't just like give people FaceTime, but be genuine and
Yeah.
see bands that you like and people you think you might want to work with. Drop them an
Sure.
email, send them a message. Like if you've got a couple of quid, support them, buy a t-shirt, whatever it might be.
Mm. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the music industry is actually more friendly than people think. It never used to be, but I think
Yeah.
it has now, like in the last couple of years, I would say like post-COVID.
Mm.
Like everyone's kind of come together. Even as a promoter, from a promoter point of view, I when I first started this, I didn't have a clue what I was doing at all, and I'm still learning. Everyone is like you never
Yeah, yeah, for
stop.
sure.
But I worked a lot with Harry White, who runs Hammerdown Festival, and just like big him up a lot. But like he had so much time for me to just sit down and be like, yeah, this is what we do. This is how, And I may have taken some of that advice, not used it, taken some of it and used it,
Yeah,
taken
for
some of
sure.
it, made it my own. But like, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah,
Um,
and I feel very much like that now. Like
mm,
when we play with bands and
mhm,
they're starting their journey out, I'm like, yo, like, what are your questions? Like, I might not have an answer, and you might not agree with me,
yeah.
but we played band just, well, I suppose, before Christmas, Concrete Fern, and they're just kind of student band in Portsmouth, just sort of getting out there and doing their thing. And I said, yeah, like they said, where did you record? What did you do this? How did you do this? Like,
Hmm.
I don't think
For sure.
anyone's, what's the term? I like learned it fairly recently, like gatekeeping or whatever, like
No,
keeping that
yeah,
information.
no, for sure.
Like, I think people are a lot more open. And
Mm,
if you go around doing your business in a genuine way, like,
yeah,
then you're going to find other people that want to work like that. So
for
if
sure.
you if people are just being nice and not being snaky about it,
Mm,
then work with those people because they're the good people you want to work with rather than,
yeah.
we've played some dodgy gigs in London for some funky promoters where they're, not being great to bands. Like you learn your lesson. And if
Hmm.
I find another band to sort of, oh, we've got a show there, I'm like, oh, just double check yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't play the show. I'm not saying anything, but check your
Yeah.
sort. So if someone had told me that, it would have saved a lot of time and money.
Yeah, for sure. I get it as well because people say to me like, "How do you find your bands for Rugby's Cancer?" And I'm like, I literally sometimes just get messages of people
Mm,
like, "Have you got anything coming up?" Because they've been brave enough to just message me, and
yeah.
like, you wouldn't have got that slot if you didn't message me.
Yeah. And that's me. I think
Um,
that's how like this whole like chatting now, I think I was just
yeah,
like, hey, like let's
for
talk
sure.
music. Like if you want to chat and do
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
like we're about and we're releasing stuff
for
and we
sure.
want to get ourselves out there. So let's
Yeah,
just talk and do the thing.
yeah. again with this with Let's Talk Music, a majority of my interviews have been now. Some of them have been like friends that are in bands and stuff like that, or like I've been introduced through that way, or I've gone to a gig and spoke to someone.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of the people just message me, and I
Mm.
don't. I rarely turn bands down. I only turn a band down if they're being difficult in the sense of like I've
Yeah,
tried to book them in and they, and it's normally because they're busy. But like
yeah,
I never off the bat go, absolutely not. I'm not going to interview you.
yeah,
So
yeah, for
like
sure.
just send me a message. So let's wrap this up a little bit then, and let everyone know what you've got coming up and stuff like that. You got a release coming out soon, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll sort of dive in. So our next track is out on Friday, the 7th of February.
Hmm.
There's like pre-saves and stuff available, or just, give it a stream, like, share, do all the good stuff. It's a funny track for us because we recorded it the start of last August, I think. So
Hmm.
it's kind of taken a while. Um, we released our other track Done just before Christmas. And we put a lot of focus into
Hmm.
that. And I think in a way, Friend or Foe's kind of taken a little bit of a back seat. But as a song, I think it shows, like I sort of mentioned earlier, that breadth of us and what we can offer as a band.
Yeah.
It's also super, super fun to play live, which is great. I think we've still captured a flavour of that,
Yeah.
sort of recording it. We also, as part of that, we released it on vinyl. So our first physical music release, which has been really, really fun. That and Done on, we're sort of calling it, double A
Mm.
side 7 inch. We've not had loads. We had them like lathe cut, not pressed, but we've not had loads done. It's mainly friends and family, and a bit of a vanity project for us. Like I love
Mm.
my vinyl collection, and now you
Hmm.
know I've got my band on cut. It's really cool. Um, so yeah, that's out soon. We've got some gigs coming up. Um, Locally in Portsmouth. We got, I think, a gig in Guildford on the 7th of March, Portsmouth at the Edge of the Wedge on the 9th of March. And then, we're always just trying to pick bits and bobs up and, see what's
Hmm.
out there, try and
Mm.
take that next step into like more headline shows, supporting bigger bands. And yeah, just trying to get out there. But
Mm.
we played Icebreaker Festival last weekend, and I think we only played like two songs that we've got recorded, sort of thing. So it's
Mm.
just lots of new music, and then back into the hopefully the
Hmm.
cycle of sell some t-shirts, make some money, get in the studio, and keep releasing tunes. Really,
Yeah, no, wicked. I know there is a couple of bands out there that watch my podcast religiously. So if you like what you see, you can get in touch with them and maybe then you can have a support act or something. But
yeah, yeah, for sure.
for sure. Yeah, so are you guys on all the socials? I know you're on Instagram because that's how you contacted me. You're on Facebook
Yeah,
and everything else as
so
well.
I'm good
People
on
find you.
Instagram. We
Yeah.
are commontongue.band.
Mm-hmm.
On Insta, I think it links to Facebook. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna confess to be great on social media.
Fair.
Um, but we're on Facebook, so
Mm-hmm.
definitely say hi on there. We don't do TikTok because I don't know. I'm a 32-year-old man and I ain't got time for that at the moment.
Yeah, fair.
Equally, if anyone out there loves social media and wants to help a band run some social media stuff, like I'm not against it, I just
Mm,
can't do it myself.
fair.
We don't talk about Twitter and X anymore just because they are doing some
No.
sketchy stuff.
Yeah,
Uh, what's the other one? Bluebird? Blue something?
I
Oh, is
don't
that the other
know.
one? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Hit us up on Instagram or drop me an email.
Cool. Amazing. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you guys at home for watching as always. What have I got coming up? We got Rock Beat Santa in September. We are doing the initial like first couple of announcements for that. It's gonna be the biggest one we've ever done. So we're gonna have the first couple of bands announced in the next couple of days or in the next week or so. We are working with Southside oh God, Tom Pope. I literally my brain has just gone. I'm gonna say their whole company name wrong, and he's gonna be like, What did you just say?" Um, South Stage Productions. We're working with South Stage Productions. Didn't totally just look that up. Um, uh, this year, so we've got our own lighting and sound people. We've got a theatre-based thing, which means we can run it for longer. We've got more bands. We've got more acts. So if you can make it at home, guys, people watching, you're not going to want to miss this one. And it raises a lot of money for charity. I don't have any other gigs coming up at the moment, but there might be stuff in the pipeline, so keep watching. Follow me on all socials. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Follow me on all of it because why
Oh yeah,
not?
we're on YouTube. We do that as well,
Yeah.
I think.
Keep on playing, keep on listening, and I'll see you guys soon. And again, thank you for coming on. Um, Great chatting to you.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Bye.